I really thought this one was gonna work. Another failed relationship.
How did you play a role in this outcome?
I don't understand. I feel like every time I start something new, that I have all of this positive energy and I think this is gonna work and I'm super in love, and then there's just disaster. Do you ever feel like you're stuck in the same relationship patterns no matter who you're with? It could be your ex, your new one, a person that is in your life right now. Like the certain patterns keep popping up regardless of who the person is. This is something that we all experience to some degree. But the difference is that it goes a little bit deeper than just picking the wrong person. That's a little scary. So that's a really common experience, and it often is because we're working from a deep-rooted beliefs, instincts, unconscious patterns, unconscious wounds that shape how we respond to everything without us even realizing it. Interesting. So these patterns are just happening on their own? I'm not even aware of them? Exactly. So think of them as scripts you've been following for years. Scripts written from your childhood, from your experiences, the messages that you received growing up, and the beliefs your family had that you formed about yourself and the world. But over time, these scripts get rooted really deep in your mind, in your unconscious mind, and start to feel like natural, like almost automatic. They tell you things like, I have to be perfect to be accepted, or if I speak up, I'm going to be rejected. We carry these beliefs into our adulthood, into our relationships, where they start influencing how we react without us even knowing.
Wow. So even if I think I'm reacting to what's happening right now, I might actually be reacting to something from years ago? Yes, exactly.
It's like a shadow from the past casting itself onto today, the present moment. So say, for instance, you grew up feeling like you always had to earn approval by performing well, getting good grades, and that's the only time that your parents really gave you attention. Now, as an adult, you might feel anxious about disappointing others at work, even if there's really no threat or it's really not a big deal. This isn't just an overreaction. It's a really deeply rooted belief that it's activating your instincts to protect yourself, even if it's really not relevant now.
So these beliefs are kind of like survival instincts, but just a bit outdated?
Exactly right. These patterns served a purpose when you were younger in a certain situation. They helped you adapt to your environment. They were a coping mechanism. But now, in the relationships that you're having now, they might be holding you back. Unconsciously, you're trying to avoid situations that bring up old feelings, but this can prevent you from living fully in the present moment. So you're avoiding because it's scary, but then it's preventing you from making better decisions now.
But how do you actually change these patterns if I'm not even fully aware of them?
Great question. So the first step is noticing the feelings and the reactions that keep coming up, picking up the patterns. Those are often clues that are deeper patterns that are active. Then we can basically start exploring where these patterns might come from and question whether the belief behind it is still serving you and if it's really authentically what you believe, not what your parents or your society put upon you. Just by bringing these beliefs to light, you start gaining freedom from them. You start separating the reaction right away, and then you have a gap to be able to make a conscious choice.
So it's about becoming aware of these old patterns and asking myself, does it still serve me? Does that work? That's what you mean?
Exactly. So
It's a process, peeling back layers with also not harshness, but compassion and curiosity more than anything. And then over time, you're gonna see that you don't have to live with these patterns. You learn to discern what is a pattern and what is really an active choice. You can actually act and make new ways to experience new situations, ones that feel more true to who you are now. This sounds really, really freeing. Thank you for that. It is. It's about uncovering those old scripts that you can write your own story, one that aligns with who you are today, not to the past, not who you needed to be, not who you had to prove to. It's learning who you are authentically. It's really powerful work, and you're already starting just by having this conversation. So you're probably wondering, okay, I get this is all subconscious, this is all my deep-rooted core wounds and programming. How do I stop making the same choices that are not beneficial? How do I make myself aware that I'm making these choices that are not essentially what I want? So the first thing that I'm going to suggest is ask reflective questions. Encourage yourself, push yourself to reflect by asking open-ended questions like, what beliefs or assumptions do I have about this situation? Or have I ever been in a similar situation before? And how did I respond to it? These questions help us explore recurring thoughts or behaviors, often leading to a lot of epiphanies, a lot of aha moments about our underlying beliefs. The second thing that I would suggest that you do outside of reflection, it does incorporate reflection, but on a higher level. And what I mean by that is start tracking your responses. We are in such autopilot that we're not even aware of how we respond. Again, it becomes that program that is unconscious that has been programmed through our society and our familial relationships. Start tracking how you respond to certain situations, and then reflect and understand, why am I responding or reacting in this way? Why am I only feeling the pain or the intense emotion? Start creating the gap, because that gap is the transformation for you to make better choices. So reflection and tracking how you respond to certain situations are essential for you to understand and be able to stop the continuous patterns. So you know what you need to do now, right? Just remember, you have to practice this outside of session. But I think you have some time left. What do you want to talk about next? Well, yes. I want to talk about